You ready?
Yes.
John Peckman Podcast, Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come over the bridge, go through one set of lights, pull a Yui, park in front of the music store with the red neon light. Like and subscribe, tell your friends. Have your own show here in our beautiful studio. Come be my guest on the show, just like we have guests today. New friend just met moments ago, Dan Pugach, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So we had Dr. Tony D a couple weeks ago, and your name came up because you know what he's like. He's like, "Oh, I got names for you." So that's how it happened, and here we are, right?
Yeah.
So you playing with Tony?
Yeah, I play with Tony at Cafe 9 a lot,
Yep.
and we hang out, and he comes over to the house. I come over, and we bonded as, over music.
Sure.
But I have an affinity for espresso.
Oh wow.
And I didn't try to infect him with that, but now he's more obsessed than I am.
Oh really?
Yeah, and
Oh, so
he'll
you
send
got him
me-
started on that.
Yeah, he'll send me rabbit hole
Really?
videos of
Wow.
about espresso and stuff, and he got also a big espresso machine and
Oh, boy.
all the gear. Yeah.
Oh boy. So he just went in. That's funny.
Yeah, it's funny. I wasn't even trying to get him into that.
Yeah, right. We'll have to talk about that because I don't know what there is to know. But there must be a lot to know.
There's too much to know.
Is
It's
there?
kind of like the world of recording studios.
Yeah, right.
With microphones and,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's funny.
it's kind of endless.
Yeah, right. Analog versus digital.
Yeah, this versus that, all the gadgets, all the,
It's funny.
yeah. So espresso's like that, and
Wow. All right. Well, we'll get to that. We'll do music first. So
yeah, we have to cover paradiddles. We have
Right.
to cover
Right.
espresso.
right. So he told me you were a drummer.
It's true.
And you told me you're a drummer.
I am a drummer.
So you must be.
I am a drummer.
Yeah.
I play drums.
So how
Yeah.
did it all start?
I grew up in Tel Aviv in Israel,
Okay.
and I got into it when I was young, like around 7.
Wow.
There was a little kit in the house, in the apartment, that my older brother was using
Okay.
just for fun,
Yeah.
as a hobby, because he's actually a violin player and
Okay.
a recording engineer.
Wow.
But he always was like holding my hands.
Yeah.
And
Is he there or here or?
he's there. He's in Jerusalem,
Okay.
works as a musician, mixing engineer.
Wow. What's it like over there? Is it like an American music scene-ish, kind of, or no?
Yeah, like whatever was on
really?
MTV or
Okay.
the radio,
Okay.
I listened to pretty much
Yeah.
everything you listen to,
Okay. That's cool.
plus stuff that sounds like, in Hebrew.
Right.
Or Hebrew
Right.
pop or
Yeah. Well, that's cool, though.
and jazz. And then I got into jazz. So
Okay.
in high school,
Yeah.
as I was changing drum teachers, one of them was like an older guy
Uh-huh.
who was like the jazz guy.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
had to audition to go to him. And I was like, oh, I already know how to play drums. I don't need to,
Yeah, sure.
I don't need to do this. Why, I can play Dream Theater and fast drum plays and
Right.
stuff. Little brat at 17 years old.
Whole different thing.
Yeah.
And you liked it, though. You liked the jazz thing, or you just thought,
At first, I didn't.
Yeah.
It sounded old to me
Sure.
and just like not very challenging
Sure.
to a 17-year-old. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
they're not doing crazy stuff. And
Right.
Why is it so?
So what was the crazy thing there? So you said like Dream Theater. Like what was it that made you want to get involved in drums?
The fact that I couldn't do it well, I think.
Okay.
I still can't.
Oh.
It's like a mystery still.
Wow.
I feel like
Okay.
it's like an never-ending like learning thing.
Oh well, yeah, sure. For sure. But what did you gravitate towards musically at first?
At first, I was into rock and Metallica
Yeah.
and Rage Against the Machine
Yeah.
and Beastie Boys.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
German techno and
Sure. Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I even saw Metallica in Israel once.
Oh really?
At a concert. Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
And then as I got older, I had a neighbor who showed me Rush,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, oh my god,
Okay. Yeah.
sounds like they stole from Dream Theater.
Oh boy.
What an
Yeah,
idiot.
yeah.
Like they came first.
Yeah,
So.
sure. Sure. That's funny.
Yeah, I was into that, and I had like a period of like heavier metal, like Pantera, and
Sure.
whatever.
Sure.
And then someone showed me like fusion, and that was like the gateway drug to jazz.
Gotcha.
You know, because you get in from like slap bass and crazy stuff, Dave Weckl stuff, and then
and then you go to this older guy. Then you're starting to learn how to play some straight ahead a little bit.
And he's like, okay, play some quarter notes, and you realize, oh, that's the hardest stuff, and so. Let alone play with dynamics and with different feels and transcribing and starting to read. Yeah. And then I got into a big band, and I realized I have no idea what I'm doing.
Oh, wow.
You know, I got to learn how to read well. And
okay.
So I kind of relearned. Every time I changed teachers, I relearn how to play drums.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool.
Change my technique and everything, you know. So.
Who was who stood out? Who do you think was the best for you? Teacher, or they were all different depending on what you were doing?
Yeah, I had a lot of great mentors.
Who made the biggest impact, would you say?
There were a few. One of them was his name is Arale Kaminsky.
Okay.
He used to live in New York in like the 70s or whatever. Brought stuff from Brazil to Israel, brought like bebop to Israel, kind of like one of the pioneers. He was like the biggest mentor.
Cool, that's cool.
And then after that, I went to a jazz school. That's not it's not a college, it's not an accredited program, but it's kind of like you get a diploma.
Yep.
And you can transfer credits to Berkeley in Boston. So
okay.
That was kind of the
so it got you kind of started.
Yeah, that was kind of the path.
Yep.
So I studied with a guy named Ronnie Holland.
Okay.
The drummer who played in France mainly, and then moved back to Israel.
Okay.
So those guys brought a lot of different influences from abroad.
That's interesting.
And it's fun because there's a huge jazz scene in Israel.
Is there?
You wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't. Yeah.
You wouldn't assume, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I guess not. I wouldn't know what to assume, but
but turns out there is.
Yeah.
And they start really young, you know. So you can go to a jazz club today.
I see.
And cats are playing there, and they're like 15 years old.
Yeah, right.
And they sound like Tony Williams or like I don't know who. And you're like,
hey, that's kind of cool.
What? What's in the food? What?
Yeah, right.
What is this?
Right. Right. Do you know Leave You Pop, drummer? Do you know him? He's from Romania. He grew up in Romania, and his story was interesting. Not, just different, but like, behind the Iron Curtain, even though back then, and like learning what filtered through what he learned. And he's a really good like blues type, kind of rock drummer. But it was interesting. I'm just saying, as an American, like you don't know what people are hearing. Like
I mean, even my wife, she's American. She's from she grew up in like Litchfield.
Okay.
Sure. Went to school in Waterbury.
Yeah.
And every time I recognize something, she's like, "You had that in Israel?"
Yeah, right. I know,
like,
you must get tired of. Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you think?
well, we don't know. I don't know.
No, but she's always surprised.
Yeah, that's funny. That's
like,
funny.
oh yeah, Snoop Doggy Dogg, of course.
Yeah, it's not Mars.
Like,
yeah. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. Well, we don't know.
Of course. Yeah.
No idea. Yeah, that's cool though. But they're keeping jazz alive.
Yeah, and there's a festival, and there's a lot of schools.
Yeah.
There's like one high school. I didn't go to it, but it's like they have like a really serious, very demanding kind of. It's the same vibe as like the LaGuardia School, high school.
Yeah.
Very competitive.
Yeah.
So cats are really young, and they already play jazz.
So anyone who makes it through there is like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very competitive. Very, very, very rough on the kids.
Yeah.
So if you survive that, I didn't go there. I didn't see a point in driving to a different town just to go to high school.
Yeah, right.
Let me walk 5 minutes,
Yeah, that's funny. Oh, well.
But that's that. And
so you decided to go to Berkeley because you were able to from credits.
Kind of, yeah. It was like an easy path for me. You don't know what you're going to do. I still don't.
Had you ever been abroad by then from Israel?
Yeah, I've gone to the States a bunch of times.
Okay. So it wasn't that was intimidating. It was just the Berkeley thing, or
I guess a lot of friends of mine that were older,
yeah,
like ahead of the game a little bit, maybe like 3 years that's what they did. Like,
right.
They would go
Right.
to that jazz school. They would transfer credits to either Berkeley or the New School or Manhattan School,
Sure.
and then end up in New York and just play clubs.
Sure.
And
You thought, why not?
I was like, oh, let me try to do that.
Mm-hmm. Was it the right move? Who knows? We don't know.
know.
We're not done. Yeah, we're not done
What
yet.
was the other option?
Well.
Like, you know,
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Right, right.
What would I have done?
I mean, were you playing a lot there? Like, can you make a living playing there? Kinda.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, not better or worse than anywhere else.
Did you when you went to Berkeley? Did you feel like you just wanted to learn more, or you wanted to break out, or both? Or were you not thinking about it that way? You're just kind of like, well, this is the path. Let me take it.
This is the path. Let me take it.
Yeah.
I took all the classes that would be a waste of time and money to take at Berkeley, like ear training and all the basic stuff.
I got
them out of the way in Israel.
Yeah. Yep.
So that I could take classes with Terry Lynn Carrington and
Right. Sure.
Kenwood Denard and Joel Ovano and all the jazz guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
And really take the time to meet everybody and play with everybody and like create a network. So that's
kind of cool though. It sounds like that is the path. Like you say, you get all your first credits done.
Yeah.
When you're home.
And then you can graduate in 2 years instead of 4.
Yeah, yeah.
It would not have been that bad if I stayed 2 more years.
Oh.
But it was Boston, so I wasn't too into it.
Oh no.
The city was kind of small and no opportunities to play really.
Yeah, right. So when would this have been?
2006.
Oh, okay. All right. So not enough playing going on.
Almost at all.
Oh, really?
You think it's everyone says, oh, it's a college town.
Sure,
it's so rich with culture. Yeah, there's a lot of students. But But that's it. They hang out in like little pockets.
Right, right.
And almost nowhere to play.
Wow.
So you play just like in a classroom. Like that's your jam session and that's it. There's like one jazz club and the other 2 are like fancy, expensive jazz clubs that only get the famous names. And that's it.
Wow. I wonder if would there have been more opportunities to play in New York or no? I mean, you would think so, right? But I don't know. Maybe not like it used to be in New York. Who knows?
Yeah. I think back then there were more opportunities in New York, more clubs, more places to play.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're a student and you're trying to focus on one or few things, being in New York would have been more distracting, I feel like.
Oh, okay.
And more intimidating.
I gotcha. So Boston was good for studying.
It was good for studying and for focusing and for like landing here. As an international student, it was really great to land at a place that's kind of calm.
Sure.
And not too crazy like New York.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, cool.
You know.
Cool. That's cool. So did you finish there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Just I got a degree in jazz performance.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Yeah, here we go.
I mean.
Right. Well, I don't even have that, but
you can't buy anything with that.
Right.
You know, it's not like it pays itself.
Right.
Well. And I wouldn't recommend doing a degree in music if it costs you an arm and a leg. You know, like I see people take loans.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't do it for a music degree.
No. And you didn't have to?
I didn't have to.
Oh, well, that's good.
You know, I got most of it paid by the college.
Yep.
As like their like international program, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then a little bit from home, I got some help.
That's cool.
And I was able to get out of there fast.
Yeah, that's good. And then what? You just said, I'm going to get out of Boston.
And then I thought, okay, I'm the best, you know, thinking in that young mentality, I'm like the best around in the college. I'm doing great because I'm playing with all those guys.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm going to move to New York and crush it.
Sure.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they all say.
That's what they taught us.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Dude, I moved to New York and nobody cared.
Oh, no.
You know.
Yeah.
Obviously. Why would, you know, like.
Yeah, they don't know you. Yeah.
My first gig was in a moving company. I had to schlep couches up the stairs. And,
yeah, sure.
You know.
Yeah.
For like $9 an hour.
Oh boy. You're like, here I am. Yeah.
With a music degree.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't prepare you for that. So
I guess not.
So I did that for a few months.
You have family around, or you just figured it out? You had to figure it out.
I don't have family here.
Okay.
I have like my dad's cousins. They're like my dad's age.
Uh-huh.
Who are living in Long Island.
Right.
But that's it. You know, like I would maybe see them once in a while.
Wow.
Go say hello.
Yep.
But not like a close family. Like a.
So nobody knew how to tell you what to do or anything. You just were like, I'm just gonna figure it out.
No, I just looked around, saw what other people do. Everyone picked up whatever. One guy worked at a hummus place.
Yeah.
In the village. Someone else worked at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
People picked up club dates, like wedding gigs and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it just started. So that's how it.
I did that for a few months, and I was kind of happy with the moving. Actually, I mean.
Wow.
It wasn't as hard as you know. You don't have to be like strong or whatever.
Yeah.
Because you're doing it in pairs.
Sure.
Like they put you with someone. And
sure. So it's not like you picking up.
You carry stuff together.
Yeah.
And slowly, because this is like Upper East Side.
Yeah.
Very delicate stuff. You can't get it scratched.
Sure.
I did that, and then my dad said, "Listen, I didn't send you to Berkeley to do that. So
right.
You better quit."
Oh boy.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, find me some gigs.
I was like, okay, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I saw a lot of my friends get into a master's program.
Okay.
And I did not want to do that at all. And I ended
How
up
come?
doing it. Because I was like, I'm done. I'm done being in school.
Okay.
Let me do it. Let me do the thing.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I wasn't an immigrant. I was just on a student visa.
Okay.
So after you finish school, you have 1 year that you can like hang out and work and try your luck.
Yep.
As an extension of that visa. But then you have to get out.
Wow.
So my time was running. And I said, okay, some of us apply for like an artist visa.
Well, wait a minute. So if you establish yourself, can you stay?
You can apply for an artist visa.
Oh, okay. But you have to show that you're actually working in...
Yeah, you have to...
I gotcha. So I see. So the moving thing, that's not going to help you.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Nothing I did was really helping. Like even playing with friends at like... whatever.
That doesn't count.
It doesn't show that you're like smashing it.
But the master's studies would.
So the master's would have given me another few years of student status again.
Yeah.
During which you're not allowed to work, but you're allowed to stay and study.
Wow.
So I was like, okay, I might as well get a master's degree. Let's see where I'm accepted to.
Sure.
So I tried Juilliard.
Okay. Yeah, right.
And they said no. And I wanted to try Manhattan School, and they wouldn't even audition me because they had someone already from like the undergrad just like move up to the master's.
Sure.
And then I tried City College.
Okay.
And I got accepted to City College.
Okay.
And it was affordable.
Okay.
Because it's like a city university.
Yep.
And I was living in Brooklyn. I was schlepping 3 times a week up to Harlem.
Wow.
For seminars that were mainly focused on theory and classical and like musicology and bibliography and research techniques and where to put the comma and how to do citation and all this stuff that
to go towards performance.
And the degree is called performance, like a jazz studies degree, like a masters of something, of music and like jazz studies. There was barely any jazz or performance. There was one ensemble once a week.
And what would have been the career path with that? Or are we getting to that? Like, what was that geared towards?
Maybe be able to teach one day.
Okay.
Like at a college level or...
Yeah.
Although degrees today are so saturated that everyone has a doctorate.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And even with a doctorate,
imagine that.
It doesn't guarantee anything.
Wow.
You know.
Huh.
But at the time, it was something to do.
Yep. And it kept you here.
And it kept me here. Also caused me a lot of anxiety. I developed like my worst anxieties during those years.
Wow.
2009 to 2011.
Wow. Why just back and forth?
Back and forth to Harlem, and I felt like I was the dumbest in the class, you know.
Oh, wow.
You know, the language barrier. I mean,
Sure.
my English is fair.
Sure.
But compared to those musicology guys who were there to hear themselves talk.
Yeah, yeah.
And analyze stuff and talk
Sure.
about, you know, oh my God.
So you just felt like they were running circles around you.
I was, I couldn't find myself there.
Oh, wow.
And it was like a fairly small program, so not a lot of people to like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, like mingle like that.
Wow.
So I wasn't a fan of it, but, and I kept wanting to quit.
Mm-hmm.
But I stuck around because of the pressure of like staying in the States and not quit and not like fold. You know,
Right, right. Sure. You just go, I'm going to finish this and see where I end up.
I'll finish it and maybe I won't excel, but I got to survive it. You know,
Sure.
And not lose my status here.
Okay.
Just so I can have the opportunity, like the chance.
Yeah. And then you'd have another year after that.
And then if I graduate, I would have another year to stick around. And during that year, I would figure it out.
Okay.
And I did. So like I graduated and funny, during one of the like classes, I met this jazz piano player teacher there.
Finally.
Yeah, finally. And he was just like giving assignments to try to write for like a 5-horn rhythm section project, like a 9-piece ensemble.
Okay.
I was like, okay, I haven't really studied composition, really. I never got into it, never really studied arranging. But I kind of like it. I was always listening to big band also on the way coming up. Let me try. And so I did that just like by ear. Like,
wow.
And he saw the potential and he said, oh, you might, you know, you might have something.
Wow.
You might have potential in this.
Wow.
So that kind of kept me going. So I was like, oh, let me pursue this. Let me try. So
wow.
I got into listening to like more big band, more current stuff, not just like, because I thought big band is just like the swing.
Sure,
and like
sure.
Maybe Bob Mintzer, like funk stuff. But I got into like the more current like stuff, Maria Schneider and Alan Ferber and, you know, like more contemporary composers that I didn't know about. And ensembles that were like a mixed ensemble like that, like 9-piece ensemble.
Okay.
And I tried it out. I started writing and
now, are you composing or arranging things or both?
So I started arranging.
Okay.
And then I was like, oh, let me try to write something original.
Wow.
So I started doing that.
Wow.
And then I started calling rehearsals at my apartment.
Wow.
And I brought 9 apartment, this
sure.
Not even this
sure.
size, not
sure.
even as big, because like
sure.
it's a Brooklyn like railroad, so like a lot narrower.
Yeah.
Narrower. But it's Brooklyn, so nobody cares.
Yeah, right. Yeah, everybody's doing something.
Everyone's noisy. You're the quietest in the block on the block. So I lived in Park Slope. I found like a rent stabilized through a friend.
Yeah.
And that was my spot until the pandemic. So
wow.
I would host rehearsals there, and just try it out and like print the parts.
Did you ever even write songs before or anything?
Only for assignments, I guess.
Wow.
For that jazz school back home, and then Berkeley, whatever assignments. But I never.
You've been doing it a while now. Do you think that person now looking back, do you see what they saw in you? Do you think? Because you're saying like, you know, somebody said, hey, why don't you try this? And they said, I think you're good at this. Do you now see what they might have seen in you, or you just did it from doing it? Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think that what they saw is not that unique to me. It's more unique to drummers.
Okay. What do you mean?
I think that having sitting at rehearsals and seeing all the schmucks just like talk to each other and fight over chords and fight over forms and fight over A and B and verse and chorus and this and that. while just ignoring us.
Yeah.
You and us drummers have been just like absorbing a lot. And
because you're not really in the argument that
we're
much.
not in the argument,
right,
not always, sometimes we
right.
are, but most of the time we were just like absorbing and absorbing sense of form and arc of like the whole song or the
Is that a thing? I wonder. Like you say, do drummers, I wonder if that's a thing.
I think drummers have that.
Yeah,
I think drummers
are
in their head. They may not say it,
right,
but they hear everything and they're playing everything.
Sure.
And I feel like drummers are, just by being in those situations, have a lot to contribute.
Right, because they're not defending their position or arguing.
Yeah, they're also not stuck in
Yeah, that's interesting. Wow. Okay. Yeah, well, that answers that question.
Because like we're not, like we're kind of limited, right, in one way.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not contributing melody or harmony,
Sure.
but we're also not limited by having to, I don't know.
Yeah, sure.
Focus on so much detail and so much melody and
I see.
stuff. So like we get a sense of the bigger picture.
Yeah,
a lot. I feel like drummers, if you tell a drummer, okay, forget about the technique or the notes or the whatever, just like describe in words what would go best, what would build the song from nothing to,
Sure.
I feel like
that's interesting. Yeah.
I feel like drummers have a good sense of that.
Well, maybe because I was thinking that I don't know if it translates, but it seems like drums are the most immediately dynamic, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? You're able to create dynamics just from right there, not even blowing, but like just striking, right? And then I guess the other question I would imagine is, so, because I completely untrained in any way, but drum set is a collection of voices, right? I mean, it is. It's a collection of different voices. So in a way, you're arranging when you're playing.
Exactly. You're orchestrating the whole time.
You're orchestrating.
Yeah,
right,
arranging, orchestrating.
Right. Sure. So I see what you're saying.
So I never thought of it like that.
Maybe like you're saying, drummers might have a way into arranging that like nobody else in a certain sense.
I believe so.
Hey, that's kind of cool.
I don't think I'm unique in that sense.
Okay. But then once you started working at it and applying yourself, did you see results right away and thought like, okay, I'm on the right track? Or did you just work it? Like you're used to working, so you just work hard? Or
I had different times at first I just tried.
Okay.
And I went with that, he said I have potential. Let me get into this. So I had like a creative flow where I just like put stuff out and tried stuff out.
Yeah.
And I would bring stuff to the band, and I would get a lot of feedback from musicians who said, "Oh, are you sure you want this in this octave with this guy at the same?"
Sure.
So I said, "Do I? I don't know. Let me hear it." And so I learned a fair amount by doing it.
Yeah.
And taking a lot of criticism.
Okay.
But then I got to like a wall where I didn't really know what I was doing.
Okay.
And I saw that I'm starting to do this. I'm using the same techniques or the same. I didn't really have a method or or a toolbox.
Okay.
And that's when I kind of took a break from it, and I decided to. Well, I was also broke.
Okay.
And the gigs that I was getting were not paying anything, and I didn't even know I had to pay the guys. Like that's how green I was.
Yeah, right.
So I completely stopped, and then I got a gig. Once I finished that school, I got a gig at a coffee shop.
Okay.
And I had no idea what I was doing either. Like I learned from scratch and worked really hard. And then somehow picked up like wedding gigs.
Okay.
Like Jewish wedding gigs and some American agencies, and I started feeling comfortable again. Like, I'm working, I'm making a couple of $100.
Hey, that's cool.
And then when I was doing that a lot, I felt the void in me of like, okay, I'm just working, playing drums. It's not enough. It doesn't.
So it did
me.
wake up.
It woke up again. I was like, oh, I gotta do this. But I can't do this again like that. Like Clueless. Yeah. So I got books that were like classic books. Everyone knows of. Everyone in that world knows about those books.
Sure.
But I was like, okay, let me look at those books. Like
because you kind of skipped them before.
Yeah, I was never trying to get into that. To be like an arranger or composer or any of that. I was just I just wanted to be a drummer, like a working drummer.
Yeah.
But since I tasted that, leading a band and creating opportunities for myself, and it kind of got a life of its own.
Huh.
You know, especially because I stuck to one instrumentation, that 9-piece ensemble.
Okay.
The Nonette.
So that's your thing.
So that was my thing for years now.
Oh wow! Tell me what it is.
It's basically trumpet, trombone, bass trombone, alto sax, tenor sax, bari sax.
Okay.
So you have 3 breath, 3 wind, and then trio rhythm section.
Okay.
Piano, bass, and drums.
So I'm sorry. Did you say trumpet?
Yeah.
Okay. But just one.
1 trumpet, 1 trombone, 1 bass trombone.
Okay.
And then 1 alto sax, 1 tenor sax, 1 bari sax.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then piano, bass, and drums.
As opposed to like, what would be more standard? So who uses that? Just you? Like who established that ensemble? Is that?
So like I guess the most known Nonette was Birth of the Cool, was like Miles Davis did a Nonette that Gil Evans wrote for him.
Okay.
And it was a different instrumentation. It was like obviously trumpet, Miles on trumpet, but with like alto sax, French horn.
Right.
I don't remember, like a weird instrumentation.
Mm-hmm.
And
so it's like in between. Like a big band is more, right?
Big band is like double
15.
That.
Right.
It's
right.
Yeah. Traditional
4
big
and
band is like
4
17.
and 4.
It's like 4 trumpets, 4 trombones, 5 saxes.
Right. Sure.
And 4 rhythm.
Yep. Okay.
So this is like a weird. It's like one of each.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
and why with you? Why that? Who knows?
I don't know. First, I had the first assignment was 5-horn project with 4 rhythm. So like piano, bass, guitar, and drums.
Okay.
And then trumpet, trombone, alto, tenor, bari.
Okay.
That's like a standard. 5-horn project.
And then you lose the guitar and you add.
I lost the guitar. I got rid of the guitar. First, I put flute.
Oh.
And I did that for a while, and I realized everything has to be written around the flute. If he's like a steady chair, if it's like a permanent chair.
Yeah.
It's weird. You can't not write for him. You can't leave him out, and you can't write with him without having it all sound like fluty.
Right. I gotcha. Yeah.
So I did that for a while, and then I got rid of the flute and put bass trombone to balance it out. So now like. You have the low bottom of the breath, and you have the bari sax of the breath, and you know.
Wow.
But still, I had no idea what I was doing, so I got into. It's funny. I checked out this book called Inside the Score, which is like a bunch of transcriptions of different big band charts, from like Count Basie to Tad Jones, Brookmeyer, and it goes from like traditional through. All the way to like more modern.
Sure.
But I looked at the scores and even like there's like little analysis, and I couldn't understand what I'm looking at. I'm like, I see the notes, but they mean nothing to me. Like I don't see, nothing pops up. So I went even back further, and I got like a basic voicing technique, like harmony. You know, I really taught myself from scratch.
Wow.
From books, because. I was like, if I have potential, and I already learned that by being in New York, no one's calling me unless I'm either like hustling, going to the clubs every night, or have a really specific goal to like play with someone specific.
Sure.
Which costs a lot of money to hang out every night, you know, like pay the cover and have a beer and all that.
Sure.
The phone's not gonna ring, so I gotta make my own opportunities.
Wow. Okay.
You know, that was kind of my take from New York.
Wow.
Was, okay, I got to create opportunities for myself.
Wow.
Let me do it right. So I taught myself from books and And I still do that. I mean, even right now, I'm trying to arrange a couple of stuff for big band. Just like I went back after the Non-Net record, I went back to a traditional big band.
Okay.
Released my second album with a full big band.
Okay.
And even now, I'm still going back to books and
wow,
and trying to get better at it.
And what's the goal? Just to keep doing it, to keep learning.
To keep doing it and to write better and faster.
Okay.
Like it would take me sometimes weeks or more to come up with something I like.
Wow. Okay.
You know.
But I guess the more you do it, you start to realize how much more quickly you can get to what you want to hear. I guess just like anything, right?
Yeah.
The more you do it.
It's kind of like a muscle, so
yeah.
So even when I was writing the music for this big band album, I was all into it. So I was used to like reading scores and looking at transposition and trying out different things. It was like fresh in my brain. But then I stepped away from it for a second, and now I don't remember anything.
Oh wow!
And I'm getting lost in a score, and it takes me forever to find who's playing what and what's happening.
I gotcha.
You know.
So
just because I'm not a piano player or whatever, I'm still
right.
a drummer.
I see what you mean. So the gap between the inspiration and kind of the mechanics of it, you're trying to
it's still big.
Close that gap. Huh.
You know.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
So that's kind of like and also it's good for me to have I don't want to call it a hobby because like the coffee is my hobby now.
Oh boy. Okay.
You know, but it's like a hobby that I can still get better at it. I mean, I'm getting better at drums, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I don't really sit and practice like I was when I was young, you know.
Yeah, sure.
I don't have the patience for that or the passion to like be faster or
sure.
I don't know what. I'm
sure.
like, let me be supportive and play, you know.
Yeah. Well, nothing wrong with that.
Nobody needs to hear my crap, you know. Like,
right.
So
I know.
But with the writing, I feel like I have more of a path to explore.
Yeah, right. Wow, that's interesting.
You know.
And you never imagined that. You figured, if you even thought about it at all, you said that probably your expressive voice would be drumming.
Yeah.
And then turns out maybe not so much.
Maybe not only.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting.
Because I write for myself to play also.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to like feature the drums.
Yeah, right.
But just for me to have some stuff to jam to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of what I do is I write for myself.
Wow.
To you know.
I guess it's pointless to wonder, but what would have happened? I wonder if you didn't discover the arranging, if your drumming would have taken a turn where it needed to, or whether you were kind of ready for what happened. I mean, there's no point in wondering, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of interesting. You know, because like you're saying, that's a whole other creative outlet or voice that you didn't even know that you wanted to express yourself with. Didn't even know that it was a possibility until it was.
Now it kind of seems...
Like, would you have poured more creativity into your drumming? Who knows?
I hope I still do.
Yeah.
When I play or when I play with other people's projects.
So it changed your playing.
It definitely changed my playing. I feel like having been in that side of things, like the composer side or the because I brought my charts to be played by other people with a different drummer.
Yeah. And what's that like?
Oh my God. Right. It's like, I don't know. I've never had a kid, but I imagine it would be like taking your baby and giving it to someone who's like
letting him run next to the pool or whatever.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, all of a sudden you're more careful.
Yeah.
And you treat you're more respectful to the composition and whoever's soloing or dynamic. So you're like, shut up already.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
Is this how I sound when I play drums? What are you doing? You know?
Yeah, they're trying to leave their mark without realizing that.
What are you doing?
Yeah,
you know, you're playing measure after measure, like you're reading it as if it's as if you don't know, like what. I don't know. It's so once you're on that side, you're very respectful, and it kind of changes your. So nowadays I play maybe a little too careful sometimes.
Okay.
Too respectful to the melody and
right, sure.
But
sure. Well, there's nothing wrong with that, though. I mean, you're not trying to make your mark as a drummer only. So, like,
I try to support the piece and the whoever is the thing,
wow.
you know.
Yeah, that's funny.
But also, I'm married a vocalist.
Right. Okay.
And she's like my longest friend in New York.
Okay.
And we've been playing together since like 2009.
Wow. Okay.
So she was always there. We were always like playing together.
Yep.
Different.
So that's a whole other thing.
So that's a whole thing. Like playing with voice.
Yeah.
Is not the same as playing behind like some alto player who.
I see.
You can be there or not. It doesn't matter.
Right. They're just going to blow. Yeah.
Blow. Yeah, so, you know.
Wow.
So I guess that also kind of like influenced my playing, like having married a vocalist.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, that's all part. I wonder. So what's next? You don't even know. Who knows?
I don't know. This record is out. It came out in a couple of months ago. A month and a half ago.
Yeah. It's not your first record. What was the first one?
The first one was with a non-net, with like a 9-piece ensemble.
Okay. Yeah.
And my wife sings on it, like special guest.
Mm-hmm.
So I arranged a few stuff for her. We co-wrote a song, like a blues, like a bluesy thing. And we took a Dolly Parton song, you know, Jolene.
Sure.
And we first year arranged it to like a duet, and we did that for a while. And then I expanded it to a non-net. And that track actually was nominated for a Grammy in 2019.
Hey.
You dig?
Wow.
So
how'd that happen? That must have been wild.
I don't know. It was submitted.
Really?
Yeah. Usually people like campaign, or I don't know, they hire a publicist who does that, or I don't know what people do.
You don't even know how it happened?
No.
Then they just called you?
We found out Friday
wow.
On a Friday morning in December, we found out that it was nominated for Best Arrangement.
Wow. Hey.
Against like the guy who wrote like the score for Spider-Man and like other famous guys who write like orchestras, like Hollywood stuff, and us. I was like, okay.
Wow. Did you ever find out who heard it?
I don't know. I still don't know.
That's amazing.
That's kind of like a Cinderella type of
wow
scenario.
That's wild.
Where like you just like work hard and then one day
yeah. Someone goes you, and that's it.
I don't know.
Hey, that's cool.
We didn't win, but we got to go to LA and
hey, that's cool.
And hang out there.
Did you feel like is it your best work? Did it make sense, or were you just like, oh, okay? Like, is there something else that you would have been like, wait till they hear this?
I was kind of hoping that that my original stuff, or like the instrumental stuff,
right?
Or not the shit on the arrangement, or
yeah, sure.
You know, but I was like, really, this, you know?
Well, maybe the novelty, maybe that's what caught
the Dolly Parton song, with all respect to her, and she's amazing and everything, but like this, okay.
Well, maybe that's a thing that that's pretty unusual. So, you know, a non-net album featuring Jolene.
Yeah,
someone's gonna be like, I gotta hear this, and then maybe they're like, oh, hey,
maybe, yeah.
Wow, that's wild.
So that was our taste, and then I thought, okay, my life has changed now. I'm going to be a big shot.
Right.
And then the pandemic hit.
Oh.
And back to zero.
Well, did they ever notice anything else again after that?
It got some radio play.
Yeah.
You know.
But you don't even know who, like...
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, man. You got to get a publicist. You got to find out and say, you got to hear the next one. You know?
Yeah, so we'll see. Now this one's out, and
wow.
I hope that gets submitted.
Yeah.
And then we'll see. Maybe
you got to be on somebody's radar.
Maybe next year we'll have this conversation, and I'll have some answers.
You will be a big shot.
I hope so. I'll be jazz famous, whatever that means.
Whatever that means. Yeah.
Well, I'll walk in Wallingford and people will recognize me. Oh, you're the guy who.
They don't even recognize me. I'm from Wallingford.
Exactly. So.
And I don't even play jazz.
Exactly.
Don't know.
Well.
Hey, well, that's exciting. But I mean, that you had to feel like, okay, something happened.
I thought it was a mistake or something like that. I was like, what? How? This makes no sense,
Well.
So, whatever. Why not?
Hey, well, that's cool, though. I mean, at least you got to.
So I got to taste a little bit of like,
yeah.
Okay, maybe I'm legit, but
yeah,
that ran out really fast, and
okay, and then just back at it.
Just like back at it, playing weddings and playing whatever, and picking up whatever I can do to play drums and survive.
Yep.
And I'm happy playing anywhere and with whoever and whatever.
Hey, that's cool.
Jazz or not.
Even Tony D.
Tony D especially, he's the man. And
yeah.
We host the jam at Cafe 9. He's had that gig since I don't know when.
So how did he hear you? You just showed up.
Well, I kind of heard of him. We have a mutual friend, Israeli guitar player Oz Noy.
Oh yeah.
And he's been in New York for way longer than I have. And I asked him, I need a dentist, guy. I've been having like insane toothache that is like projecting all over my head. I was like, this needs an extraction, like a rotten. And he told me, I go to, I rent a car, go up to New Haven for this guy, Tony. You should hit him up. So I had this number in my phone, but then Nicole, my wife, just got me an appointment somewhere else through whatever insurance or in-network, whatever. So I just took care of that, and I forgot about Tony. And then someone I met, this Brazilian bass player, who, how do I know him? I don't even remember. But through mutual friends, like some guy in New York, Brazilians, they found me and they started calling me for gigs, and then they recommended me to Tony, and then Tony reached out. I'm like, you're Tony. Like, okay.
You're the guy.
You're the guy. You're the dentist.
Yeah.
And he always like, I'm really more of a dentist. I'm an amateur. Yada yada. I'm like, bro, you sound amazing. What are you talking about?
I can't.
And he's self-taught.
I've had that conversation with him a million times.
How dare you? You're self-taught, and this is how you play, and all that's like.
Yeah, and he's always saying, I'm not. I'm like, dude, just stop it.
Just stop it.
Yeah, stop it.
So I play with Tony anytime.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, me too.
And he's a good guy also, so he's a good hang, and
Well, that's the only thing I ever tell Tony, and I don't even think this is true, but I just go, if you wanted to break it down and find out what you don't have that you think all these other cats have, it's all this nonsense experience that we picked up when you were doing something with your life. So
exactly.
Like, who cares?
When you were
right,
making real bread.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, whatever. But that's funny. Wow. All right, so you're doing that down there. That's kind of cool. He says there's some good players. It's not. He says it's it's cool. It's not like it used to be. You weren't around when it used to be, but he said you're playing some pretty heavy stuff nowadays.
At
at the Cafe 9.
Yeah, it's a cool spot.
I'll have to come down one of these days. Yeah, that's cool.
But now I wasn't sure if we were moving back to New York. Yeah. But it's so expensive and makes no sense.
Yeah.
So we're just happy in West Haven.
So why? So you were saying before we did this. So during the pandemic, you came here.
Yeah, my wife and her mom, in December before the pandemic, just bought a beach condo.
Okay.
For her mom to retire at.
Yeah,
because her mom is all the way in like Litchfield.
Okay.
And she was like, I want to retire. She's a special ed teacher. She deals with a lot of crazy kids and stuff, if I can even say that word.
You just said it.
Exactly. Difficult, whatever you call it. Anyway, so she was like, when I retire, I should, enjoy the beach. So they put some bread and bought this like cheap condo.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic hit, and we were in Brooklyn. Living next to a hospital. We're like, there's no way. There's gonna be a zombie apocalypse. We didn't know.
Sure. Yeah,
so we thought, okay, let's move.
Probably when you saw that first trailer,
yeah,
with bodies in it, you're like, we gotta go.
Yeah, we're like, we're out of here.
Yeah.
And so we thought, okay, maybe a couple of weeks in West Haven by the beach.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks turned into, I don't know, a few years.
Here you are.
There we are.
And then it's harder to go back.
It's hard to go back because of prices and the everything else.
Yeah.
And also we got used to the space and the air and the beach and the pizza, good pizza, zoo parties and the Sally's and all the Peppes and all. Now I'm like a pizza boy.
Yeah. No, it's true.
You must know Dean.
Oh, Dean Falcone?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, Dean, he's
Mr. Sally's.
Yeah, Mr. Rock and Roll. Yeah, he's more rock and roll, but yeah, that's what he's all about. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the parties is real.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's all
good stuff.
It's all real.
Or like stoves for like seafood and really great food. So
you're like, okay,
you know,
we'll do this.
And I hang with Tony and and the Brazilians and I go to Park City Music Hall in Bridgeport, which is a cool spot.
Sure.
And I met really great guys there.
Yeah.
There's this drummer named Drew, I think, who tours with. I forgot who he tours with, but there's also Drew Angus, who's like a singer-songwriter. A bunch of really cool people. So So I'm kind of okay. I don't have to rush back to New York.
Yeah. So you don't even know. Maybe you'll go back. Maybe you won't. Who knows?
Yeah, if we make it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if because in New York, you have to be a gazillionaire to be comfortable. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Right. Well, that's what I always think.
Exactly. So let me stay in West Haven.
Okay. Why not?
And enjoy the pizza.
Yeah.
And the good people.
Why not? Yeah.
And I jam in the apartment, so like my drums are set up.
Yeah, that's cool. And nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Can't beat that.
You know?
That's cool. Are you going to stay? So your last thing you wrote for Big Band, are you going to go back to Nanette or you just, who knows?
I kind of keep both.
Okay.
Both projects alive.
Okay.
I'm pushing the Big Band because that's the project that came out now.
Okay.
But I'm also realizing that it's almost impossible to book it.
Sure.
Maybe East Coast, if it's drivable.
Yeah.
But really, I'm not even getting a response.
Yeah.
With the Nanette, I had at least, that's a large-ish ensemble, but I'm sure we can fit it.
Right.
With a Big Band, I get a...
Yeah, as soon as they
it goes to the junk mail.
Yeah, sure.
It skips the inbox.
Wow.
So that's why I can keep both projects alive.
Yeah, I got you.
And also, I'm going to tour with my wife, whose career is really...
So that's another thing. That's a different other thing.
Yeah, that's that How Love Begins record that I gave you.
Yep.
That one just won the Grammy in February.
Oh, wow.
For like best vocal jazz album.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you guys are...
So,
the Grammys know who you are, for
they
sure.
know who, I guess.
Hey.
So...
Wow.
So I play drums on it, and it's Christian McBride who co-produced it and plays bass.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool to play with that caliber.
Hey, that's cool. So her career could take off.
So her career is hopefully taking off, and so we have some cool gigs coming up, like Newport Festival. Like we're playing Newport and Stowe Jazz in Vermont and a bunch.
Hey, that's cool.
So we're gonna have gigs with her. Hopefully, you know.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can do just that, or just playing like creative stuff.
Yeah.
But both of us are not above anything. Like we're still, you know.
Right.
We play anywhere and everywhere.
Sure. Whoops. That's what we all do.
Exactly.
We all try to do. Wow. Hey, well, that's cool. All
so
right.
we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a wild story. I don't even know what to say. That's pretty cool though. You found a few things, and you found a wife in the middle of it, which is a whole other thing that you didn't even think of or know that would happen.
I mean, we started as friends.
Yeah.
And she was.
But I mean, even career-wise, just saying that's like another thing, just kind of happened.
It's a great thing when it's great.
Yeah.
But when we fight, it's terrible.
Wow.
And so we've had a tour in like the South where we didn't speak for 2 weeks.
Oh, me and my wife do that all the time. We
no,
haven't spoken in years. So.
Yeah, but imagine, like the band was so upset.
Oh boy.
Because 10 days in like Nashville and Chattanooga and Atlanta and I don't know what. And she and I are not talking.
Oh, boy.
And we're on stage smiling, pretending everything's good.
Oh, boy.
And I just want to kill myself
the
whole time. So we're trying not to repeat that.
Okay. Yeah, good.
You know.
That's good.
Working on communication and things like that.
Yeah. Cool.
But it's definitely a challenge.
All right. Well, that's exciting. Just got a few minutes. So, is there anything that we did not talk about that you would like to talk about briefly? Is there anything that we didn't touch on?
All we did was talk about me. Let's talk about you.
Nobody cares. We've all.
I know you're Tony's favorite drummer.
Oh boy! Well,
and I can show you the text. You have like the best pocket, and you know.
Yeah. I don't. Hey, whatever they say, I don't know what they say. I'm glad he feels that way. But you know,
do you keep a kit in your house?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay, I'm coming over.
Okay, all right. Yeah. We come hang out. Yeah, Berlin. It's not far. You know.
Is it further up from here?
From here, yeah. We'll get it together. Yeah, I have a '60s Premiere kit.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Nobody knows about Premiere here.
No, it's weird.
In Israel, it's everywhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I ended up with it. Somebody said somebody left these here. They've been here for years at my rehearsal spot. Come get them. And he didn't even know what they were. He's a sax player, and I'm like, oh, these are Premieres from the '60s, but it's pre-international heads. So they're not standard. So I don't have you got to find them vintage. It's like it's not a 16-inch floor tom. It's a 15 and they're not real size. They're after a while they conformed, but these are older. So they're like weird sizes. So I don't have a front head on the kick drum. I don't have a bottom head on the floor tom, but the snare and the rack are cool. But anyway.
What size the kick?
22. Mm-hmm. Which is weird because it kind of looks like a 20, but then, well, actually, it's somewhere in between. But I mean, it's not a jazz kit, you know, but I thought it was. I'm like, oh, no, this is closer to a 22. But like 22, 13, 16, which is weird. But it looks smaller somehow. Doesn't look like a rock kit. It's weird.
And you take that to
No, I leave that in the house.
Okay.
You know, and I have like a rock and roll, you know, 22, 13, 16, but like, you know, rock and roll drums. These somehow they sound more like jazz drums, even though they're not really. I don't know how. We'll hang out.
Interesting. Maybe it's like the vintage thing of it.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Well, we'll have to. Yeah, we'll hang out. We'll play. You'll see. But yeah. But anyway,
Do you also have too many cymbals?
No. Just. You know, too. Well, me personally.
No, not set up. I mean, like.
I'm a cymbal hound. I love cymbals. Yeah, my regular kit.
It's like a woman with shoes.
Yeah,
exactly.
I have cymbals all around the kit. Yeah, I love cymbals. Yeah. Yep. Name me 5 of your favorite albums.
Chick Corea, Now He Sings, Now He Sobs.
Sure.
Michael Brecker, Tales from the Hudson.
Okay.
Miles Davis, maybe Kind of Blue,
sure.
or Milestones, or anything. And we can sit here all day long. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's fine.
But because now I'm like very cautious. I'm like, oh, let me name all the jazz ones. But there's a lot that I love and that you can't say out loud. You know?
Oh, really?
Like Sepultura or
right. Why
like
not?
really like
Why
crazy metal, you know.
Nothing wrong with that.
I don't remember. I love a lot of stuff. There's a band called Farmers Market.
Oh wow.
She's like band from like. It sounds like Bulgarian music or like Balkan music, but I think they're Norwegian.
Oh wow.
Really cool, really cool stuff.
Wow.
Really great stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
That I found by accident. Walking into a record store. When they existed.
Yeah, I do that stuff all the time.
You know.
Yeah.
It was just like playing in the, and I was like, I went to the guy.
What is it?
What is this?
Yeah.
Like, aha.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and the last 100 people didn't notice it at all, probably. And you just never know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
I like a lot of stuff. So.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's cool.
It's funny because I always first hear the drums like that.
Yeah, right.
That's all I care about at first.
Yeah, sure.
And then the music, and then I find out the music.
Yeah, definitely. I hear you. We could go. We could wrap it up.
Okay.
We're just about there. So, what are you going to do next? Tell us what you're doing next. Where you could be seen.
I'm playing with Nicole. We have a date at that new jazz club in New Haven, Jazzy's.
Yeah, I don't even know about it.
Yeah.
Hey, that's cool.
I haven't been there, but I guess it's a new one. I'm playing with Tony, I think, on Saturday, or like the 20th.
Okay.
At Cafe 9.
All right, I'll have to look.
Hosting the jam, 4 to 7.
Yeah, I got to come down.
Yeah, we're just hanging out.
Yeah.
Just playing tunes, hanging out.
Yeah, I'll come down one of these days. I got to figure it out.
I'm in West Haven making cappuccinos all day.
Which we didn't even talk about. You got to come back. We got to get to the bottom of that. Find out what that's all about. I don't even know that I've had one. So we got to get into it. Like, I don't know what cappuccino. I've heard the word before, but I don't know. What's the big deal?
It's just espresso and frothed milk.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get into it one of these days. All right. Next time. All right. Dan Pugach was here. You were here.
I was.
I appreciate it. No, that's cool.
Likewise. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Yeah. Come back. Yeah, we'll hang out sometime. We'll hit some drums. Tony D made this happen, and here we are.
Yeah.
All right? I'm going to press the button. Don't get scared. You ready?
Yeah.
There it is. All right, John Peckman Podcast. Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance, beautiful downtown Portland, Connecticut. Come over the bridge, go 130 satellites, start looking left. Dan Pugach, drummer, arranger, Grammy Award-winning nomination, and your wife also. Imagine that. Not going to hear that too often. You know what I'm saying? All right. Hey, thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
Man, thanks for having me.
You got it. That is all. Hey, listen, Dave will tell you how to have your very own podcast here in our beautiful studio. That is all.
If you'd like to start your own podcast, give us a call at Connecticut Valley School of Music and Dance. Our professionally designed podcast space is here for all your recording needs. Rent out our studio to do interviews with up to 4 people, to record audiobooks, social media content, and all other recorded material. Our rentals include a private studio along with our professional-grade podcasting equipment, and we can customize your output to whatever your needs are. We also have green screen capabilities, which will expand to video capability if you so wish. So check us out here at convalley.net/podcast.